Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 2, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for episode 14 for this season, the penultimate episode, the second last episode, whichever way you want to call it. We're almost at the end, and this episode is otherwise entitled World's War Bizarre. Yep, a bit of a bizarre title. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch the trailer.
Clark,
I'm not getting better. The world needs my help, and I'm, what, just taking a sick day?
if she can do that to Superman, what chance do the rest of us have?
You are more than just your powers. It's because of your heart. Be Superman.
So last episode definitely left just not only Superman and the Kent family and the good guys, but just Earth Prime as a whole in quite the sticky situation, quite the conundrum, quite the I wouldn't want to be in that position type of position, because Superman is knocked out, potentially powerless. Ali is all powerful, now is able to start merging the worlds, which we see her doing right at the end of the episode, and she sent her own little helper in the form of Bizarro Lana, or like a, Superwoman, superpowered soldier, to go finish the job on Superman, which who knows how that's going to end up? Who knows how that is going to end up? So there's a lot of things that we're wondering, about, how it's going to play out in, the second last episode, episode 14, as well as the finale. But unfortunately, we have to wait an extra week to find out. Yeah, we're off Superman and Lois next week. It's only been back for 2 episodes. Now we've got another 1 week break. Wasn't meant to be like that. As I said in my review yesterday, most likely from when you're watching this video, it was meant to be the final 4 episodes in a row, but then they changed it to 2 episodes, then another break, and then the final 2 episodes. So it sucks. Yeah, but there's no point complaining. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, Now, unfortunately, we don't have a synopsis yet for this episode. I don't know if they are going to release one, because they released, I think, the synopsises for other episodes airing this week for all the CW shows, but didn't release one for this one. Now, the only reason that might be is that maybe that they want to put something in the synopsis that would have spoiled the last episode. So they want the last episode, episode 13, the one we just watched, they wanted that to air, and then they can release the synopsis. The Flash has done that before, and I think that was back in like season 3 or 4. You don't see it happen too much, so maybe that's why they're delaying it. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there's no synopsis to go over. But of course, before we actually go through the trailer and talk about some stuff heading forward, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and theories and predictions and everything like that going forward, especially in regards to the stuff we go over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're looking forward to this episode and the end of Superman and Lois Season 2 and how it wraps up, why not drop a like on the video to show your support? So the first thing that needs to be said, and like the pretty obvious thing, the trailer keeps a lot hidden about this episode. They really show a lot of just like Superman being weak, and it seems like it's half the trailer is from the same like 10 seconds of the episode, with him like crumbling over the stairs or walking from the car and just feeling a bit weak and going, oh, I'm still not right, or whatever it is. They used a lot of that footage, which is really nothing, to fill out this trailer. So they're keeping a lot hidden. And even with the title of World's War Bizarre, it sounds like an episode that would have a lot going on and some big stuff, especially seeing it's the second last episode of the season as well. So yeah, this is one of those trailers where they even use old footage from previous episodes as well to fill it out, not really showing much, although there is like 3 things I wrote down from the trailer that are still worth talking about. But yeah, they're keeping a lot hidden. They might even release another trailer just because there is a week off, but definitely don't expect that. That would be like a Christmas come early if they were going to do that. But as I said, a lot of this trailer is focusing on Clark not being Superman and being weak, with him returning home. Not just weak, as I said, but just no powers. He's not Superman, but he's just weak as hell in general. Can't walk consistently or anything like that. Is really, really struggling. And as we were saying before, it seems like, other people are going to have to pick up the slack and deal with what's going on until potentially and hopefully Clark feels fine to go ahead. Now, with this brings up the discussion, will Clark take X-Kryptonite? Will Clark take X-Kryptonite in order to have powers to help take down Ali? That is a high possibility. I've seen a lot of people saying that. They were saying that, like, in the first half of this, or like, like that middle portion of the season when X-Kryptonite was like the main storyline that was going on, that Clark might eventually take it. Now, of course, we saw what the effects on taking something like this was on the Bizarro world and what happened to that, that Superman there. So that's obviously going to be the discussion point, is like, well, I don't want to get addicted to it, or just what the general effects on it on me could be. And also maybe if he did lose his powers, will taking extra kryptonite stop him from like regenerating his powers or whatever it might be. It's going to be a very interesting thing to happen on the show, and I'd assume that this episode will tackle it, because I don't know if they'd want to spend too much of the finale around it. But yeah, it just seems that like extra kryptonite could definitely be an option that Clark, or at least maybe Clark resorts to, or maybe that other people push him to in regards to helping out with the fight. Now, we do see Natalie upset and hugging Lois, so I'm wondering, does something happen to John Henry? There is a lot of people that think he's going to die. I don't know if they've done enough in a storyline to say, hey, time for John to die. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could, or maybe he's injured, or maybe he disappears. Maybe John Henry goes to the Bizarro world. I'm not too sure. Maybe something happens. I'm not too sure exactly what's going to happen in regards to that, and why Natalie would be upset and hugging Lois, because I don't know if she'd have overly massive sympathy for, Clark and Superman being that injured, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see, but I think it was pretty interesting that we did see that in the trailer. And the last thing from the trailer of interest is that we do see the Cushings sort of walking out of their garage, and they look up at a red sky, some red lights. So does this mean there's been a successful merging of the Earths, or is this just an opening where both worlds can see each other? Is this going to just be a thing where Ali is like either creating a large enough hole where it transfers from one world to the other, or is this the beginning of like the Bizarro world taking precedence over our world, so it makes the red sky and everything like that, which once again makes the situation for Superman even worse, because he's depowered even more by a red sun. So that would make his situation even worse, even if he had like a little amount of power left. Because I wasn't too sure if they were going to get to the point where there'd be any merging at all. And that doesn't mean there is because of this red sky. It just means that like the first thing that's changing is the sky. It's not the actual, you'd think the people are the last thing to merge, because that'd probably be the most difficult thing to do in like a large rate and, with a lot of people. Now, as I said before, at the end of last episode, we do see Ali delegate Bizarro Lana to finish off the job with Superman. And there is a theory going around that Bizarro Lana might encounter Kyle, or the vice versa, and Bizarro Lana might kill Kyle. I don't know if I'd be 100% happy with that, but at the same time, I did say, I think it was in my previous trailer breakdown, maybe, or the other review, that Kyle is a character I could 100% see dying. I think they've done a storyline for him this season in regards to self-redemption and stuff, where I could see him dying. However, I don't know if I'd like him dying in a way where he's like, hey, Lana, oh, I'm stabbed with your hand. I don't know if I'd like it where he just dies randomly, especially if it's just him and Lana and no one else around. I think if they're going to kill Kyle in this season, they would kill him being a hero. You know what I mean? Like, he's a hero without powers or any special tech. He's just a dude. And maybe he's protecting Lana or protecting Sarah or something like that, and he does die. But a lot of people do think that Kyle's going to die this season. So maybe Bizarro Lana is the one that does it, or something along those lines. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, a lot of people think that that might be the case. Now, a character who was in episode 12, but wasn't in episode 13, was Tal Rowe. Now, is he going to be a factor in the end of the season? Is he going to be someone that helps save the day? He bailed from the volcano at the end of episode 12, and we saw that his Bizarro version was killed by Ali. So he wouldn't be overly affected by the merging, even if it does start replacing people, because his doppelganger is dead. So I'm very curious to see if Tal Rowe is someone that really helps the situation if, Superman can't do anything. Maybe he sacrifices himself. It's going to be interesting because they let him go for a reason. They let him roam free so he can just show up at his own pace. Someone doesn't have to go to, his little cell and open up and say, hey, let's go, you come save the world with us. He can just do it on his own accord, which allows it to be more surprising and a better moment when he just shows up and helps. So I think you might see this episode, or maybe they might leave it for the finale. That's a wait and see, but I think we can all expect Tal Rowe to make his presence known at some point in these final 2 episodes or the finale, but it's going to be interesting to see in what way. Now, in regards to this merging, could the merging start for people on the same Earth? So if they're already on the same Earth, the merging is easier because they don't actually transfer or anything like that. So I think the only case we have of that at the moment, if Bizarro Lana doesn't stick around, would be Jonathan and the Bizarro Jonathan. So could they merge, or there'll be like a slight merge where maybe that ends up without Jonathan getting powers? I'm very curious to see how they handle that because, you know, we know that Bizarro Jonathan is in that cell, similar to like what Talro was. So he's just sitting there sort of waiting. But maybe Bizarro Lana goes to free him and then maybe he's out and about. Not too sure. We'll have to wait and see how that episode plays, or this episode plays out, or maybe the finale, because, you know, the trailer doesn't really show us much. But yeah, I just for some reason feel like we're going to see something happen in regards to that whole Bizarro Jonathan and our Jonathan and everything like that. But that's a wait and find out. Now, obviously, in the trailer, they also have Chrissy Beppo saying, like, well, if this, you know, if Ali was, you know, took down Superman with such ease, like, what do we stand? Like, what chance do we have? And I'm wondering, can Ali be overloaded to defeat? So, you know how you have like a water balloon? Eventually, if you put too much water in it, it's going to pop. So, is that how you defeat her? Because it's hard to think of a way where she is reversed. So maybe you have to go the other way. So it's like, well, we can't reverse her power or drain it, you know, ourselves. So maybe we have to go the other way and overload her. But obviously you don't want to use people for that unless you get something where someone like Talro sacrifices themselves and lets them be absorbed by Ali or whatever it might be. Or we saw that John Henry was working on a way to null the steel suit, which could also be Natalie's suit as well. So they couldn't, so like Ali couldn't drain power from them. But what if you could have it where you store lots of like kryptonite or another power source or nuclear energy in the suit, and that's what Ali drains. So instead of draining like people's life force and stuff like that, she's actually just draining the energy that like the suit is making up, if that makes sense. Like it's making it seem like it's, you know, proper energy that she would be taking from John or Natalie or something like that, but it's actually just some like nuclear energy that is overloading her to the point where she would just, I guess you could say, like have a heart attack or something like that, like just like cancel out because she just got so much power. I think that's something that could happen, or at least it would be a decent plan to look into, but I'm just curious to see how they defeat her because I think she's too overpowered at this point, especially to the point where you can just like reverse it or have a fist fight and stuff like that. You're gonna have to figure out some other way. And the final thing I'm very curious about in, you know, episode 14, episode 15, just how this season wraps up, is Jordan's progression, especially without Superman training him. Will he step up in a higher level situation? You know, he stepped up when, you know, Superman was out of it and, you know, in the Bizarro world and he was, you know, going around Smallville. But that's just Smallville. This is something completely different. So are we going to see Jordan stand up and harness his powers more? I think we will, but I'm just wondering to what degree. You know, is he going to be the one that leads it? Or is it going to be someone like Talro or, say, John Henry with Natalie or something like that? Or maybe even Superman if he regains his powers in time. That's what I'm interested in as well heading into these final 2 episodes. But there's a good amount. And I think they've set up these final 2 episodes pretty damn well. I think it's going to be pretty action-packed. And I'm looking forward to them quite a lot. And I think the fact that they pretty much show like the same handful of scenes pretty much in the trailer without any real action stuff and even reuse shots from the previous episodes as well sort of suggests that a lot is going to be happening in these final 2 episodes, and I just cannot wait. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about everything we went over. I'm always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.